Let's think for a moment. The world's greatest fortunes, the most powerful business people, the wealthiest individuals, even some states themselves entrust their money to a single place. Yet there is one country where almost no one knows, sees, or hears who deposited this money, how it is managed, or how much of it there is. A tiny country, but a massive financial center. In the heart of Europe, Switzerland. So, what makes Switzerland so special? And perhaps more importantly, how long can this system continue? Because this is not just a place where money is stored, it is also a global center of economic power. Switzerland's story as a financial safe haven goes much further back than most people imagine, back to the 1700s. At a time when every corner of Europe was shaken by wars and political turmoil, Switzerland chose a very different path. Neutrality, system-based order, trust. During the French Revolution, many aristocrats began pulling their wealth out of chaos and moving it to Switzerland. Money, gold, and jewelry quietly flowed into the country. However, the real rise of Swiss banking began in the 19th century. In 1815, with the Congress of Vienna, Switzerland was officially recognized as a permanently neutral and independent country, an enormous historical opportunity. This decision placed an international seal of trust on its banking system. By the early 1900s, Switzerland had already secured an important role in the global financial world. With the Industrial Revolution, a new entrepreneurial class rapidly grew wealthy across Europe. These people were searching for a safe haven where their fortunes could be protected from political chaos. This is where Switzerland's strong legal system, conservative structure, and neutrality came into play. Especially during World War I, this sense of trust reached its peak. While Europe was in turmoil, Switzerland remained calm. Wealthy business people and aristocrats seeking to escape the destructive effects of war moved their assets into Swiss banks. The banks promised absolute secrecy. However, at that time, this secrecy relied mostly on unwritten verbal guarantees. It was powerful, but not yet fully protected by law. By the 1920s, during the post-war recovery period, cities like Zurich and Geneva had transformed into financial hubs. Switzerland's fixed exchange rate policy, low inflation, and financial freedom made it attractive not only to Europe, but to the entire world. Yet this rapid rise caused serious discomfort among neighboring countries. France, Germany, and Italy realized that their citizens were using Swiss banks to evade taxes. The financial crisis that erupted in 1932 and the growing international pressure forced Switzerland to make a historic decision. With the banking law enacted in 1934, banking secrecy gained legal immunity. Swiss banks were now legally obligated not to disclose their clients' identities. Account information could only be accessed by Swiss courts and only in very exceptional cases. Even the government could not easily obtain this information. After this law, Swiss banking virtually took off. By the late 1930s, the amount of foreign money, gold, and capital held in Swiss banks had exceeded $10 billion. In today's terms, that corresponds to hundreds of billions of dollars. However, this wealth did not consist solely of clean money. During World War II, the dark side of the system emerged. Nazi Germany and its collaborators transferred stolen gold, confiscated Jewish assets, and looted wealth from occupied countries into Swiss banks. According to estimates, Nazi gold worth approximately $1.5 billion in today's value entered Swiss banks. Even more disturbing, some reports suggest that part of this gold was obtained by melting down the gold taken from the teeth of prisoners in concentration camps. After the war ended, many Jewish families tried to access the assets they had deposited in Swiss banks. However, the banks refused to share account information, citing banking secrecy laws. A long legal struggle began, lasting from 1945 into the 1990s. Lost accounts, destroyed documents, rejected claims. In the 1990s, this issue turned into a major international scandal. In 1998, Swiss banks agreed to pay a total of $1.25 billion in compensation. This was one of the biggest blows to the reputation of the Swiss banking system. Years passed. With the 2008 global financial crisis, Swiss banking was shaken once again. After the collapse of Lehman Brothers, countries began chasing offshore accounts. The United States and the European Union took aggressive steps to fight tax evasion and money laundering. In 2010, the U.S. enacted the FATCA law. Swiss banks resisted, but pressure continued to grow. UBS was forced to pay $780 million, while Credit Suisse paid $2.6 billion in fines. Today, Swiss banking is far more transparent than it was in the past. But the story is not over. The world's richest and most powerful individuals still want to entrust their wealth to Switzerland, especially billionaires from Asia. Massive capital flows from China, India, and Russia continue to keep Switzerland standing as a global financial power center. And the question remains the same. How much longer can this silent, powerful, and mysterious system last? Subscribe for more.